Hey, evening, guys. Okay, so Amanda and I'm just going to jump right in. So, Amanda and I were talking the other day. We have our weekly one-on-one calls, and I was telling her what I'm starting to focus on. I'm shifting my focus, of course, with the training that I'm in for my like page, but also that I'm shifting my focus to simplifying this business. It was getting complicated. I was feeling overwhelmed, and I was feeling like, oh my gosh, I have to develop a training. And Amanda knows this. I have to develop a training for my new coaches that, I have to like totally, add some extra training videos into what we already have in the back office. And I have to, do this and that and, learn how to do backflips basically. And I said, I finally decided to just simplify it. And the simple answer to building your business and signing coaches is people that have already been in your challenge groups. And so Amanda and I talked about just like how to simplify this business. So I'm just going to let Amanda take it away, and maybe I'll jump in at the end. We're just going to kind of just throw this together. So I just wanted to lead in with that, like how this discussion happened, and some insight that Amanda and I shared, and we're going to share it with you guys. So Amanda, take it away.
Okay. So I have had the same feeling as Katherine was just describing several times since I started coaching years ago. And with coaching, with having any business or any job or anything, you're also balancing what you're doing with your life. And when what you're doing is something that you're trying to build and you're trying to create, and you're making it so much more complicated for yourself than it has to be, other things in your life start suffering. And sometimes you just want to throw your hands up and walk away. Sometimes you're like, we just need to back off from this for a minute. And sometimes you have the aha moment. And I've had probably all of these a couple times in my coaching experience. And then you sometimes have that like, what am I doing? Why is this so difficult? Why does it feel like what I'm trying to do is so much harder? Hold on. Cece, can you whisper, honey? Why does this have to be so much more difficult for me than for what everybody else is doing? Yes, it takes hustle. Yes, it takes constant work and communication and persistence, but it doesn't have to be hard. And I remember going to a training that at one of the summits the last couple of years, and Miguel was saying, being Mother Teresa and walking away from your family and your friends and everything in life that you knew to live a whole nother life and never seeing those people again, that's hard. Coaching is not hard. Inviting people to a group is not hard. And then you had like all these big crazy examples of things that people have gone through in the world, and he's like, that's hard, being in prison your whole life when you're innocent, fighting the radicals, blah, blah, blah. That's hard. Posting an inspiring quote is not hard. So it was like things where he was just saying, we make this too difficult for ourselves. And I think that's true. And sometimes you don't want to admit that that's what we're doing, but sometimes it smacks you in the side of the head and you're like, why? So I just hit Success Club 10 today for April. And I want to tell you guys how I did that. And also kind of remind myself why I didn't get it last month. And I think I got 5 in January or February. I don't know. I got like 5 in 1 or 2 months already this year, but 1 month I didn't hit it. And how am I already at 10? So I posted about a group that I was doing, and I posted about, I didn't try and make it all salesy. I just was like, here's what it is, and it's super simple. And no, it's not free. It's going to cost you money, but this is why it's worth it. And I sent an invitation to maybe 20 girls that I have had conversations with in the past. They weren't even necessarily people that I've talked with recently, but they're people who have shown interest in the past. And said, hey girl, Bikini Boot Camp starts Monday. Do you want to join? I'd love to add you if you're interested. And that was it. And I sent that to like 20, 25 people. And some of them wrote back and they were like, yeah, tell me more. And then it came to this, oh yeah, no, I can't do that. But I started that conversation again. And some of them were like, for $160, yes, sign me up. That's the whole year of, that's basically their gym membership for the year. So it's all about how excited and how confident you are in what you're talking about. And just making it very simple. I didn't have to do this whole huge crazy thing on PicMonkey. I didn't have to make a perfect video. Katherine was kind of talking about her imperfect videos before. Just be you and be honest. None of us are perfect. Sorry to break it to you, but our imperfection and our quirkiness and our what makes us different is what draws people to us each individually. So I think embracing that and just being very simple with your message and being very honest with what it is, not trying to oversell anything, not trying to twist anyone's arm. If it's not something, like one of the girls was like, yeah, that sounds great. I'm actually going to the gym and I'm doing some metabolic something. I can't remember what she said, but it was something that, and she's like, and I really want to stick with that. So I can't afford much more right now, but can you give me the cost details? So I told her what the cost would be. And she said, I can't afford that right now. I really want to stick true to what I've been doing since January. I've lost 25 pounds doing this program. And I was like, that's awesome. Keep going. I don't want to break you from something. I just know you've shown interest in the past and wanted to include you in case you wanted something in addition. So never trying to steer somebody away from something they're doing that's successful for them. I think just being a good-hearted person and genuine and keeping your message very simple, I think, is the first part of making this whole process more simple. The checklists are really good. I think they're very effective. I think there's one that we used a few years ago. I think Brittany made it. And I think we have the files in the gift group, but it's not a lot of things to check. Like you know your basics. Like you do your workout, that's for you. You do your personal development, but in talking with other people, you don't have to check off 25 or 40 things a day to make sure you get through your day. If you can't remember, like if you're not in a routine by now, maybe we're too list dependent. But if your list is short and it's like, did you post something? Did you tell people you're doing a group? I had not told somebody or posted about me doing a group in 2 months because I wasn't doing one. Because I lied. I did post about one I was going to do in February, but I didn't do it because nobody signed up for it because I didn't invite people. I just posted. I was like, they'll come. If you build it, they will come. Built. But I didn't do my follow through and invite people to it and talk to people about it. And then in March, I was doing the Ultimate Reset, so I didn't do a group. I was just really, that's a hard program if you haven't done it. So I was just really concentrating and doing that. But then I posted about the Bikini Boot Camp. I followed up with people. I invited people. Anybody who commented on it. I have a couple other groups that I'm a part of that are like charity groups. And I posted the same thing in that group because it's just girls. And I said, I'd love to have a bunch of Chivettes in here with me. Like, let's all do this together. Thinking of areas in your life that you have a specific group of people that maybe you can just get a group of them to do a challenge group. Like Katherine, you probably have a bunch of friends who you have in common the whole horse thing. And you could say, like, what if just a bunch of us got together and did this little, you don't have to include everybody in every group. You can say, this one is just for these people. I had a couple guys message me and they were like, why can't I be in the Bikini Boot Camp? I'm like, if you get your girl, or no, one of them said, can the guys come in just to watch? And I was like, if your wife signs up for it, you can watch her do it in the living room. I'm like, I'm sure she'd love that. But no, this one's for the ladies. And stick strong with what you're saying. And the more specific you are with your groups, the more you're going to draw people that fit that mold. And when you're speaking to everybody, it's easy to lose everybody. So I think the first thing, make your message known. Say, I'm doing this group. Don't just say, I'm starting a new challenge or I'm starting a new workout. Say, I'm starting a new workout. Who wants to do it with me? Let's get a bunch of us together. We need to hold each other accountable. So put that invite out there. Post a really good before and after. I don't know if you guys saw the post that I did about the Bikini Boot Camp, but it's not necessarily my current after, but it was a transformation that I had with Beachbody programs. So I don't really feel like that's a lie. I'm trying to get back to that point too. And it was a good transformation, I think. And so a really good visual, a really clear message. Thank you. Good job. She's giving me her straight A report card. And it's our third quarter straight A. Okay. A very clear message, a very good picture. And you can post these in our groups and like let us kind of read each other's posts before you post it if you want. But I think you guys have all done this long enough that you know what a good post looks like. You know when you're very clear about your message. What is it? Who's invited? Is it free? No, because we advertise free groups a lot, so it would make sense for somebody to get confused thinking it's a free group if that's what you've done for the past 6 months. So no, this is not a free group, but here's why it's worth it. And then when somebody asks what it's all about, say, hey, this is also basically your gym membership for a year. It comes with your first month of breakfast for a month. You get all these other things. And so what I'm doing with my bikini boot camp is everybody bought an all access challenge pack, because we're all going to do 21-day fix for 21 days. And then we'll probably do bonus things for the last week. But I'm incorporating all the little 10-minute hit or 10-minute abs or size 8 count, or like the little short workouts that each program has, a few of them. I'm going to say, like, here's your 21-day fix, and then here's your optional bonus workout for the day. So they're not just doing a 21-day fix. They can do that by themselves.
And they're trying something from other trainers.
Right. And that's the benefit of getting the all access challenge pack, because everyone has access to all the programs now. Everybody in my group has everything. And then next month I will, if they want to stay in it, we can all switch to another program, or they can join my next group and do another program. And the idea is that they're continuing to stay hooked. They're continuing to drink Shakeology. One of the girls in another girl group that I'm in posted something about, like, what's the fastest way to, like, get rid of belly fat? Something, whatever girls worry about. And one of the girls that's in my challenge group was like, I'm doing a beach body group with my girl Amanda. And so she started asking me questions about it too, because she's like, then what about wraps? Do wraps work? Whatever. So the value in that is that they're telling other people, because they're getting super pumped about it. And like Katherine said at the beginning of the call, those are the people that are investing themselves in it, that are seeing the changes in themselves. That's the first step. And then they start telling other people, like this girl already has, and our group hasn't even started. And then they are coaching and like cheering other people on in the group. And that's when you say, if Darla were on the call, she would tell you, you're doing exactly what I'm doing, except I'm getting paid for it. Like, you could be doing this too. And Darla's like, oh, I don't think that's for me. And I'm like, all right, well then keep recruiting people and I'll keep collecting the money on it. That's what you want to do. And then she became a coach. But that's kind of how you get it, is you get those people who are invested. I love coach opportunity calls, and I love what those do and what those do for us in learning to best explain these, like, what we do. But Katherine's right. If you don't have somebody who's lived through it, it's sometimes walking into it as just a business proposition, and it's for the person who's attending your business opportunity call, and it can feel very MLM and pyramid-y and whatever. But when you've lived through that challenge, that's why all of you guys are coaches, because you lived through that and you're like, oh my God, and you felt the fire and you're like, yes, I'm going to keep doing this and paying it forward. So those are the best coaches to get. And simplifying the whole process, you can watch personal development videos and read personal development books for the rest of your life, but it's just developing you as a person if you're not applying it. And you don't have to do all the trainings are good, the videos are good, but I feel like we tend to, and I do the same thing, make things so complicated, and you have to just back up for a minute and say, why am I here? I'm here because I learned to love myself again. When I was a challenger, I realized that my life hadn't ended when I became a mom. I just didn't know how to think about myself anymore as a person because I had lost my identity. And then I learned to love myself. And there are other people that go through the same thing. And I want to help them realize that they're still people and they're still worthy of attention and of themselves and loving themselves. And I'm going to help them do that. And when you just get back to the that feeling that you had, like, I would love for you guys all, if you want to share, like, what was that feeling that you had that you want someone else to feel too? And then just go on that. You don't have to do all of Shalane Johnson's huge trainings. You don't have to listen to all the top coaches and pay for trainings and pay for coaches. Like, what is it that changed in you that you want to help somebody else do? And just focus on that thing. And with that starts coming all of this success, because you're being genuine, you're being true to who you are, instead of trying to fit into a mold that some other coach has developed. Make sense? So do you mind if, like, I know that, I don't know if you guys still do like all the roundtable things, but like, Katherine, what was it in you that where something switched, that you realized, not like when did you realize you want to help somebody else, but like, what was it for you? Like for me, I learned that I could still love myself, and I wasn't completely lost as a young mom.
Well, what's interesting is that the campaign that's going around, the I Am Team Beachbody, that everybody's doing with the hashtag. So that's been a campaign showing, how have you changed? Like, what has changed for you? And that's actually what I'm speaking about at Super Saturday this week. Is I don't know if anybody saw the video that's going around from a couple of coaches that were like, they picked a word and they talked about it. Like, someone turned around and they said, desperate. You want to talk about being desperate? And they talked about their life and what had happened before Beachbody. And then they turned back around and put their back to the crowd. And so there were 5 or 6 people, and I'll put the video in both groups if you guys haven't seen it already. I mean, I had Danny watch it today, and I'd already seen it like 3 times, and I cried again. It's really powerful. And so, I'm going to be one of the people on this panel, and I'm reminding myself what I'm saying. So let me just like scroll really, really quick. And so trapped. So my word is trapped. And I wasn't sure what to use, like lost or damaged or whatever. But when I really think back to before Beachbody came into my life, I felt trapped. I felt trapped in a body I hated. I felt trapped in a mind that I hated. I felt trapped in a toxic relationship that was, slowly killing my spirit and ruining my life. And I felt trapped when I was at the bottom of the hill. And I've talked about this on my Facebook before, when I would sit at the bottom of the hill, staring up the hill to go get my horse. And I felt trapped in that spot because I knew that when I got to the top of that, I would be breathless, and I would already be exhausted, and I hadn't even pulled him out of the stall yet. I hadn't even tacked him up, and I hadn't even ridden him yet, and I was already exhausted. So I felt trapped. And so that's not exactly what I'm going to be saying on a Super Saturday, but that's about, what it is. And so that's the whole purpose of that is doing that. And then at the end of it, you say, what are you going to do about it? And then the person rotates around to the back. So the idea is all of these people's lives have been changed, and all because a coach reached out to them. And it's not, so I put a quote on my Facebook the other day, and it's not what happens that determines your life's future. It's what you do with what happens that determines it. And I really like that. You can, things are going to happen around you, and you can allow them to affect you, or you could move past them. And most of life is how you react to things, and so you can react in a positive way, you can react in a negative way. And, I'm going to use a nautical comparison here. And sorry, I just saw, Pam. Okay. So the same wind blows on everyone. It's about the set of the sail on each boat that determines how far you go. So are you simplifying this business? Are you bringing it down to, what you need to do? And for people that don't have a lot of time, and I don't have a lot of time, and Amanda doesn't have a lot of time, and Dora doesn't have a lot of time. Like, none of us actually have very much time at all. It's actually amazing. Like, none of us are, like, all of us are working incredible hours and like a lot. And so, but we're not the only ones. We're not special. There's nothing special about working that much. Like, most Beachbody coaches and most Beachbody coaches that are top coaches now, they have the same situation. It's only a couple of them, like Bonnie Engel, who was fired from her job, and then she did this, so she was able to throw everything into it. Bonnie and Lindsay Matway are very particular people. Everyone else worked 40 hours a week. Most people had children. That's what got them to the situation where they lost the weight in the groups, and they finally felt empowered. And that's what I felt. I finally felt empowered. And I actually knew from the beginning that I wanted to be a coach. I knew I didn't need my upline coach to give me any sort of recognition, because to be honest, I was actually running the group better than she was. And so, I just kind of did it, and it came so naturally to me to want to help people.
Yeah.
And so I want to just repeat that quote because it really struck me. The same wind blows on everyone. It's about the set of the sail for each boat that determines how far you travel. So the question is, how are you going to set your sail? Are you going to make this complicated? Are you going to treat this like it's incredibly difficult to set the sail on a boat when it's really very simple when you follow the steps that you're taught in the beginning? The 4 vital behaviors are there for a reason, to simplify. You read a personal development book for 10 minutes every day. 10 freaking minutes. Wake up just 10 minutes earlier. Believe me, you're not going to be any more or less exhausted or feel, better for 10 freaking minutes. Like, seriously. Or if you're someone who's addicted to TV like I am, you turn the damn TV off. This is your life. Like, this is, for Christ's sake, like, this is your future. Why are you wasting time doing that? There will be so much more time when you turn off the goddamn TV and work your business for 25 minutes. And I say 25 because T25, the same amount as a workout. Let's say you have an hour a day. Let's say you have an hour a day to fit your workout in and do all that. You can get almost all of that done in an hour. We have 30 or 25-minute workouts now. And then you can work your business for 30 minutes a day. It has been proven by so many different coaches to do that. And by complicating it, by saying you have to create a training, by saying you have to create a perfect this or that. If you wait till everything's going to be perfect, you'll never start your business. If you keep waiting, it's the same thing like, when someone says, oh, I'm waiting for the perfect time to have a baby. When the hell is there a perfect time to have a baby? Are you ever going to have the perfect body to have a baby? Because you're just going to get fat again. Okay. Like, seriously, is there a perfect financial situation to have a baby? Never, especially in California. I'm always broke in California. So there's never a perfect time to have a baby. There's never a perfect time to join a business like this. The opportunity is always there, and there's always going to be opportunity mixed with difficulty. That's not special for anybody else. Opportunity is always going to be mixed with difficulty for every single person. And every coach has the same story. And by that, I mean, they had an opportunity and they've had difficulties along the way. That part of our story is not different or special. It's what we did and how we overcame it and how we looked past those difficulties that makes each individual coach special. But the struggle is not special to everybody. Okay. So simplify it. So I told Amanda on the phone, I said, I'm focusing on making Success Club. When I have more time, I will make a new coach training group and I will help my coaches. But for now, all my coaches know that I'm there for them 100%. All my other downline coaches like Dora know that I'm there for them 100%. Dora knows she can call me at pretty much any time of the day and I will answer the phone and I will help her. And that's what matters, is the support. Do I have a perfectly outlined training for Dora to follow through to, jumpstart her business? No, but I can give her tools and I can help her as much as possible and I can support her and know that she is loved unconditionally. And that is what matters to me, at least. I can't speak for Dora or anybody else, but that is what matters to me the most, is knowing that I have the support, and the learning comes with just stumbling along. I mean, you don't see a child get up and just start running. You watch them fall multiple times. You you Band-Aid bruises, you Band-Aid strawberries on their knees, and they do it over and over again. And yet somehow we think that we're just going to get this right away, that every invite we send is going to be accepted and we're going to have no bruises, no strawberries. We're not going to need to Band-Aid our ego every once in a while. I mean, that's ridiculous that we would think that would happen when, that's not how any other aspect of life works. This business isn't always easy because of those difficulties that everybody has, but this business is easy. You see what I'm saying? Like, this business isn't easy, but it kind of is. It's easy when you simplify it. And the simple truth is making Success Club. And that's what Amanda and I talked about, was just simplifying it. Neither of our teams are making Success Club. We're struggling. Our team is struggling. And our upline feels that struggle. And that's why they've made these surges, the income surge, the inviting surge. Scotty Hobbs admitted in his call he lost 3 of his star diamonds in 2016. 3 of his star diamonds. So they're struggling and they feel it. And that's actually why I love this business, is because they can't just ride on their coattails. This isn't a pyramid scheme. They can't just continue to make millions and millions of dollars and not do crap the rest of their career. They have to help us. And they are. And they're teaching us just how to do things simply. None of them have said anything very special. They've said consistency. They reached out to friends. Scotty said he was not ashamed of anyone that he invited, because he thought that this opportunity would be great for anybody that wanted to help people and is a good person. And
can I interject something real quick to that point?
Please, sorry, just keep going.
No. I love it. It just reminded me when somebody was saying, I think it was Lindsay Stay was saying, you know, when you invite somebody to try Shakeology, you're talking about Shakeology, and you don't want to say Shakeology because you don't want to name drop, or you just call it like this great superfood shake, or when people are like, well, how much does it cost? And you're like, okay, so I know, okay, just sit down for this. I know it's going to cost a little bit more than you're used to, but like if you go into it with any doubt whatsoever, you're done. Just walk away from it. Like don't even finish the conversation. You have to be like, it is the best thing I've ever done in my life. And I've told people before when they've had questions about the price, I said, you know what, I can completely relate to what you're feeling, because when I first bought my very first challenge pack, I maxed out my credit card and I said, this shake is too expensive. There's no way I'm going to be able to do it again on a single mom budget. And now no credit, never on my credit card. I couldn't do it. And after the first week, I knew it was the best decision I'd ever made. And I've been drinking it every day for the last 5 years or 4.5 years, because it changed my health, and it changed my daughter's health, and it changed my mom's health, and my brother and my aunt. Like everybody in my family drinks it because it is that good. I would pay 4 times as much for it if it costs 4 times as much. It is that worth it. And so when I talk to people about it, I have that confidence behind Shakeology. I stand by it 100, 200, 300%. I have no doubt. If somebody else doesn't see the value in it, that's for us to help them see the value. But if we go into it with any shred of doubt, just give up on that one. Because you've already told them, you've already convinced them it's not worth it unless you explain why it is. Like you have to go into it saying, this is the shit. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you said something that triggered that memory.
That's totally
somebody
fine.
saying that.
And yeah, so confidence. So let's just talk really quick about how we're going to make this simple. So stop wasting time picking the perfect graphic. Stop wasting time. Well, she's not going to watch this, so it's fine. My upline spent so much time worrying. Amanda's laughing. Anyway. My upline spent
not this upline, her old upline.
Yeah, she's not my upline. She is now, but she wasn't originally. Not my sign-up coach. And so my upline spent so much time. She wasted so much time filtering and taking the perfect picture and taking the perfect angle. And it drove me crazy one time for one photo with her. I can't even imagine, that's going to cause burnout. That's good. That's exhausting. That sounds awful. I love my imperfect photos. I love them. Dora, I adore Dora because she'll take a photo at whatever angle of her drinking her damn Shakeology and just freaking post it. Who gives a crap what other people think? It's so exhausting to give a shit what people think. That's exhausting. I did it for years. I hated myself. And the more I cared about what other people thought of me, the more I hated myself. And now the less I give a crap about what other people think of me, the happier I am. I just don't care. And it's so freeing to finally feel that way. And it's people who let little things cheat them out of big opportunities aren't going to go anywhere with this. They're not going to do anything. If you let the little things, I don't want that person to think that it's salesy to do whatever. I started inviting people to Super Saturday this week. And even though I know that, corporate ends up talking and they announce some big deals, and at first that can seem salesy, I didn't give a crap. I was still speaking. So I'm showing my leadership. And I'm just sharing this with a few people who I think will be great coaches at some point. And I just shamelessly asked them, hey, do you want to come to this event Saturday? We can maybe grab some lunch afterwards. There's a workout, and I know you already go to a gym. Come sweat with me. I was dripping in January during that workout. I was dripping. So, and some have said maybe, some said no. And I don't care about the outcome. if you invest too much in each individual person, then you're going to get your heart broken over and over again. And it's like falling in love with every single person you ever date, or just every man you look at. You're just going to have your heart broken over and over. Don't do that. You just keep moving forward and know that what you're doing is genuine and amazing. And, you know, when you're sowing seeds, you know, we always talk about like sowing seeds and growing relationships. Well, when a farmer is sowing seeds, do you think that like birds don't sometimes pick seeds out? Or do you think that sometimes like a heat wave doesn't come, or like the storm that California has been having this year and some seeds drown? Like, do you think that doesn't happen? No. And that's why you keep seeding. Do you see the farmer stopping? Do you see him not seeding because he was like, well, some of this bastard birds are going to freaking like take some seeds. So I'm just going to stop this season because these guys are really selfish this year. They're going to eat all the seeds. No, they're going to just throw out some more seed and know that the crop will grow from that. And and so, you know, don't let those little things hang you up. You know, it's really quite simple. It's really, business is so simple, right, Amanda? Like we just talked about how easy.
It's just, and I think in that conversation we were having, because I struggled a little bit the first couple months. I mean, I hit my goal a couple times, but I used to get really high Success Club points every month, like in the 20s. And I know that the last 12 months have thrown a lot of curveballs my way, and my plate got like triple overwhelmed, whatever, from what it used to be. But I think because I don't have time to give it all my time, I was forced to simplify. I think that's part of it. I spend 2 hours a day driving, and then a lot of time waiting, and then for my daughter, and then 1 to 2 hours a day with her extracurricular activities. So some days it's like today was 4 hours just dedicated to her, 4 or 5 hours just dedicated to her stuff. And I worked, and I was working on my challenge group and adding people. Like Katherine, like I made her dinner at 8:57. I finished my cooking my turkey burger, was eating it right here at the beginning of the call, because all of my stuff runs into the next thing on my schedule. There's no in between time. And I think because I don't have time to commit to a training or to commit to watching hour or 2 hour long videos every day, I don't have time for it. There aren't enough hours in my day. There just aren't. I was really forced to step back and say, okay, what are the very basics that I have to do? Why am I making this so complicated? And and I really think that's it. When you don't have the time to put all your time into it, it forces you to slim things down and to prioritize things. So I have to work out every day. And I'm getting back at that. This week is kind of my transition week back into it. And the next week is my challenge week after the ultimate reset. My nutrition's fairly good most of the time. And the one thing I wasn't doing was the thing that probably takes the least amount of time. And that's just asking people if they want to do it too. Like, I don't know why that's so hard, or why that's so intimidating sometimes. When you get behind, you just feel like you're too far behind now to start again. And so you just have to throw yourself into it and ask a few people that you're close to, or ask the girl group, or ask the horse group, or ask the quilting group, or ask the group that's outside of your typical Facebook followers. Or make a group that's special just for those people. I don't know, something that just does not have to be as complicated as we are allowing ourselves to make it.
And honestly, just like a baby walking, it gets easier the more you do it. It's like a baby riding a bike. It's like driving. It just gets easier the more you do it. Believe me, like inviting is not always easy, but yesterday I did 4 voice message invites to people. And I just said, hey, Kayla, hey, so I'm really excited about something, and, there's this really great deal. They're doing this special this month, for this all access Beachbody on Demand thing. And basically it's Netflix. And I actually did a live video today. Shamelessly, I pulled all my DVDs out. I pulled the nutrition containers out. I pulled my Shakeology out, and I just talked about it. And I was like, listen guys, like every time a new program would come out, I would like buy this. And now, you know, on promotion, that you can now get every single program ever created by Beachbody. And I used to be ashamed saying the word Beachbody, like, I'm a Beachbody coach, like, and now I'm like, F that, like, this is the shit, and I'm a goddamn Beachbody coach. I am. That means if Beachbody's the shit, that means that I'm associated with it. That means I'm the shit too. And that confidence. And so I went on a live video and I just shared what was going on and why I was excited. I was like, I don't need these DVDs anymore. I can access everything. I went to Paris and I worked out in Paris, you know, aside from my shoulder, you know, snafu. I worked out in Paris every day in my hotel room while my mom slept. Like, she wasn't quite happy with that, but like, it happened. So, you know, you just be excited about it. That's it. You know, do people know what fitness program you're doing right now on your Facebook? And don't say core to force. Say, I'm doing a kickboxing program. Show a picture of you kicking high in the air, and who gives a crap how good it looks? You know, do people know what you're doing? And you just share that, just like you share, oh my gosh, I like got my nails done at like NJ Nails, and it was like the best nail job ever, and I'm like really stoked about it. Like, you already would say that. I see people all over my Facebook saying, oh my gosh, go here, my hair looks fabulous, blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing. It's the same freaking thing. You're making it too complicated simply because you happen to get a commission if someone joins your group. Who cares? That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, go on. I keep doing this.
No, you're good. You're good. I interrupted you. I think we need to make like a 10 ways to make this simple little visual. Yeah,
that's like, it. Honestly, like, you just
like be fearless. Yeah, share your journey. Be fearless.
Don't give a crap.
Don't give a crap.
Don't give a flying F what other
people. Don't give a flying F. That's number 3. Don't give a flying F.
Because they don't pay your bills. Other people's opinions don't pay your bills. Because believe me, if other people's opinions paid my bills, oh man.
I'd be so out of debt.
My family alone, the 3 people I live with, that alone would pay all my bills, all of their what I do and what I post. And my uncle stopped by last night. He was like driving through LA, and just hearing his opinions last night, and I was only with him for less than an hour, I would already have hundreds of dollars if his opinion paid my bills. And
I had to unfriend my Nana because she had opinions.
Their opinions don't pay our bills. Us helping people and being selfless and changing lives, literally changing lives, that pays our bills. So and honestly, the people that think that negatively, like, I don't want them in my life. And that's hard, especially if it's family. And let's just get real, that sucks. But it doesn't mean you like excommunicate them. Just choose when you talk to them, and just, you know, if you have to take a step back from friends or whatever for a while to do what you got to do. And at the very least, just to shove it in their face. That's like, you know, like 30% of my motivation is like just wanting to shove things in people's faces. And I know that might make me seem like a bad person. That's fine.
30%.
Your opinion doesn't pay my bills. But that motivation that I get from wanting to shove it in people's faces are going to still help change lives. Because when I am afraid to invite, I'm like, well, if I don't invite this person, like, they could still be struggling with whatever, and I won't be able to help them. And therefore, that's less of my paycheck. That's less of my being like a person that could also help change more lives and could become a coach. And so that's fine. You know, so if my friends or family want to think one thing or another, that's fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's their problem.
I think, kind of to sum up this whole thing, so it started with the realization that while I'm earning Success Club and Katherine's been earning Success Club, and a few people have earned some points, I was trying to figure out where I'm missing the communication with my team, that not everyone is hitting Success Club, even getting Success Club, but any Success Club points. And there's something missing, and it's not a lack of training, because I think the coaches in our downline are some of the most studious and researching and note-taking coaches, and super organized, and I love that. So I know they're getting the trainings that are out there, and they're attending the surges, and they're listening to the national wake-up calls. I know they're doing all those things, but there's some block between getting all the information in their brain and showing the results. And I think part of it is just, I don't know if it's a fear of that, the connector part where it's getting the product in the people's hands or getting the people to join your group, or where that break is, which is why we kind of wanted to do a Q&A. We didn't want to just go off on tangents and lectures and exciting cuss out things, but that's okay. That's right. But we didn't have anyone post any questions. But my real concern is I feel like there's a wall that people keep hitting month after month because they're getting all the input, but then they hit a wall. And then they get more input, and then they hit a wall. And so I want to help people get around that wall that I don't know, because I'm not in that person's brain, what that wall looks like to them. And I know it looks like something different to each coach. So I was hoping we could get some like specific questions, but we can always have just people posting those questions, and we can do a follow-up next week if we want, to kind of address some of those specific issues. But I think the information is there. It just needs to go out in the world. It needs to go out, and the doing part has to happen. And if it's a matter of the inviting part isn't going well, then we need to look at what the conversations look like and figure out if the right things are being said, or if people are being overwhelmed, or if we're not confident enough in what we're saying. If it's a matter of not believing in yourself, then we need to address that. If it's a matter of not being able to figure out what your niche market is because you haven't identified who you are, then we need to do those exercises so we can, because there's just a wall somewhere, and I want to help everyone get around that wall, but I need people to tell me what that wall looks like for them.
There's a lot of fear in, like I said, I was afraid to say to people, I'm a Beachbody coach. And I want to know from my coaches, and I want to know from other coaches, what are you afraid of? What is it about this that you're so afraid of? And this campaign that's going around, the I Am Team Beachbody, I mean, if someone didn't invite you to this, then where would you be? And so take that into perspective and say, okay, well, I'm going to pay that forward and do it with somebody else. So the question is, what is holding you back? What fears are creeping in? What are you telling yourself in your mind when you're on your social media and you're adding value to people? What is it that is preventing you from making Success Club? Because, I see people,
that's where the growth is. That's where the growth is.
That's the answer. There's the creating a perfect training doesn't matter if you don't have new coaches to train who come from challenge groups, who come from joining a challenge pack and joining your groups and then fall in love with it. I mean, literally it just cascades from everything. Literally everything cascades from making Success Club. And if that sounds salesy, fine, let's change it up. Everything comes from
changing someone's life, getting someone started,
adding new people in your group. And of course you want new people. Otherwise the group becomes dead and dull and kind of boring because it's the same people. So you want new people for that reason alone, just to keep things more exciting. So the question that I really want you to ask yourself is, what are you afraid of? And honestly, it can't be that bad. What you're afraid of can't be that bad, because if it was, then you wouldn't be, if you allow that to take over, clearly like you wanting to do this and make an income doing this isn't big enough. And then, so it all starts from making Success Club and being really tuned into your why. Because if why you're doing this and why you want to make this income isn't very strong, then making Success Club isn't going to matter that much, because you're not going to want to reach out. You're not going to push past that discomfort, So, I know that a lot of people have been busy for a first quarter, like Dora, for example, only because she's on the call and I see her beautiful face right there. I'm thinking of her, and so if her why, so that the first, 4 months of her year, every single year isn't, it sounds like hell on earth based on what she says or what she shares. Some days, if it's that hellish, then she'll make the change, and I'm not pointing it out saying that she is or isn't. I'm not saying it to point out whether someone is or isn't. I'm using it as an example. But if it's awful enough, and it's kind of like addiction and recovery, and I make a lot of parallels with that because I know a lot about addiction and recovery. someone has to reach rock bottom before they're willing to make a change and get sober. So you have to reach rock bottom in your life, in your self-esteem, in your business, in your income, in whatever it is that you want to change. You have to reach your rock bottom. And so my question is, have you reached it yet? Are you that unhappy yet? And were you unhappy when you became a coach and when you bought that challenge pack? So think about how far this business can take you, and, how far it's already changed your life, and how you can do the exact same thing for other people. And recognize that opportunity, and recognize that, sure, there's going to be difficulties and you're going to be tired some days, but your income doesn't give a crap about how tired you are. And, Dora's exhausted when she goes to work, but she can't just call in sick. You can't just disappear for a week because you don't want to go. Yeah, she wouldn't have a job. And none of us would have jobs if we just chose not to show up. So treat this like it's that way. If I don't show up every day for my team, they'll fire me. If I don't show up for my challengers every day, they'll fire me. If I don't invite every day, I'll fire myself. So what is it? What are you afraid of? I mean, that's the bottom line. Like, what is it that you're afraid of with inviting or with making Success Club? Is it the fear of success itself? Again, I'm just speculating here about that. That has been a fear of mine before, a fear of success, And so that's something that you have to figure out in yourself and with your upline. And Amanda and I are here. When I text Amanda, she always responds. And sure, it's not the second I text back, but we all have lives, okay? Mm-hmm. But I know that she'll message me back if I have a problem, vice versa. Again, all of our downlines know that we're there. And so, yeah, it's not the lack of training. There's a break between, learning and then implementing. And it's because, honestly, I think it's a lack of self-discipline. Bottom line, it's just a lack of self-discipline wanting to implement it.
And I think some of it too, because I'm seeing a lot of free groups, which are good. And I think they're important and they're part of what we offer and can be part of what individually people offer. But I think I'm seeing more free groups offered than I am actual challenge groups. And I don't know if there's a fear there too, where there's consistency and there's no fear in inviting to a free group. And you're completely proud of it and confident in it, and you can get 20 people in your free group, but you're not even really talking about the other group because why? Because you don't feel comfortable with it. You don't feel confident. Is it a matter of working on your scripts or partnering up with your upline or with a success partner and doing a group together so that it's not, I'm not sure. There's something. And so once we can start hearing what some of the problems are, we can start addressing them one at a time.
Yeah, we can spearhead each one.
And Doris, since you're the only one on the call, do you have any problems?
That's true. The floor could be all yours.
Is there anything that you want to talk about specifically? Or you just want to take it all in?
Well, the biggest problem I currently have is that I live in a very, very low income area. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them freak over the price.
Yeah.
Because we are you cannot get into a house if you make more than 30 grand up here a year.
Yeah.
Because it's only Section 8 housing and it's only, low rent.
Yeah.
The best part about network marketing is that you don't have to, cater to the people that live near you. Amanda and I have coaches all over the country, Canada. So, So you could, and I know that you've reached out to your friends and family, and you have done great sharing your journey on social media,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, have you figured out kind of who your audience is, what your niche is going to be?
No.
Okay. So that's a really good thing because, when I first started, I asked everybody I knew. And my friends and my family were the very first ones to say, don't think so. And because it's easier for them to be honest. And I was already counting. I was like, my first challenge group is going to be so good. I already can count on my hands 7 people that I know will say yes, all of a sudden now. But so if you're just counting on people that you know or people that are in your area or your family, you're going to run through that list really fast. And especially if they know you well. And because a lot of people are weary about things like this in the beginning, especially if you're on a super limited income, which I definitely get, that's going to be a wall. And so you have to learn to attract people that are maybe friends of friends, or maybe do an ad on your like page, that where you're targeting specific types of people that would be interested in you as a coach. And the way to find that is to do, Katherine, did you ever post that thing that I sent to you that Katie Hefner did?
Yeah, the avatar. Yeah. And I think we've shared it in the group, but I'll share it again. Dora's in the beginning stages of coaching.
Right. Yeah. And honestly,
the first 4 months of her life really are like gone.
Yeah, that's okay. And I think that I wish that I had done that avatar training earlier on, and it may change as you continue to coach, but it gives you a very good idea initially what you're talking about. And we watched, we had a guest speaker maybe a year or two ago. It was Nikki Johnson's mom, and she's a grandmother, and she attracts people because she's a grandma who's working out. And so I can't remember what her thing is called. I'll have to look it up again. But she was like, if I post something funny on my like page and it's just a very, bland, the fastest, or what is like some like lame motivational quote, like, as long as you get off the couch, you're still laughing at everybody, or, you may be walking or you may be moving slow, you're still laughing at everyone who's sitting on the couch. Like, we all heard like some of the same stuff. We all post them when we're super like crunched on time. We just copy and paste somebody else's anyway, but totally guilty. But when you're speaking to a specific group, when she's talking to her grandma friends, she'll say like being a grandma is so great because it's just like being a mom, only you can give them back at the end of the day. Like, and then all the grandmas are like, ha 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 ha, because they can all relate. So they all jumped on it. So when it's very specific things that were targeted to her audience because she'd identified who she was, more people started responding because they weren't like, who's she talking to? All of us? Me? No? You? I don't know who she's talking to. And nobody would respond. But when they know you're talking to them, they respond. So I wish I had done that exercise earlier where I could figure out, I was talking to everybody because I didn't want anyone to get left out. And as a result, nobody responded. But when I started talking specifically to single moms or to moms of young kids, but really I've had a lot of single moms or just moms who feel like they've lost themselves once their kid's born. And they know that feeling. They can connect with that feeling. And they're like, she's talking to me. She's talking to me. I'm going to reach out to her because she knows what I'm feeling. That's much more specific. I don't care if the guys don't get it. I don't care if the people who don't have kids, no offense, I don't care if people who don't have kids don't get it, because that's not the people I'm speaking to. That's not my target. So if you can go through that exercise and kind of self-identify and then figure out how to talk to that person, it's almost like you're talking to yourself. They say like attracts like. So
and then it's more fun. Then it's more fun. Then you don't feel like you have to, again, like coaches that I know that have quit, it's because they felt like they were just scrolling through the top coaches' feeds and they were just figuring out how to reword what those coaches had said. And
I started unfriending a lot of the top coaches, like unfollowing them. Unfollowing them.
Yeah.
Because I don't need to copy theirs.
That's not who I am. So if you're not being genuine and being true to yourself, then you're not going to attract people that you vibe with, and you're not going to have any fun. Bottom line, like, this is supposed to be fun, and that's part of just making this business simple, is have some freaking fun, for Christ's sake, and then like make a little money,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's really good. That's a lot of information. I hope that this will spark some kind of self-reflection on what is the point of being stuck. And I'm not saying that anybody is bad at coaching. I'm not saying that at all. Everybody clearly has a passion for it. Everyone's still here. I just want to help people figure out, like, identify what that bump is so we can help them get over it or get around it.
So that everyone can start. You make money.
Yeah.
Like, so that you can make money, and we can like watch you make money. Like, that's it. Like, like, I don't want your success because I get money from that, because I don't. Like, you make your commission. Like, I don't make your commission off of you. This isn't a pyramid scheme. This isn't sketchy. You make your own, and I help you. And I encourage you to do that. And I want to see that. So that's it. It's not coming from a place of selfishness. It's coming from a place of wanting to see others succeed. For the same reason, we invite new people to our groups, because we want to see them succeed. Well, we want to see the people that have been in our groups and our coaches on our teams now succeed as well. That doesn't go away, that want.
Katherine, do you have a scheduled call next week?
No, nothing scheduled.
I would say, if you're okay with it, if we have some people start responding to this call and just kind of working through this over this week, because I know we posted it and said, here, you've got time, but we only gave people like a day. But maybe if we can give them a week to kind of just figure out where their hangups are, where they're having some issues that we can kind of help talk through, that we can address those throughout this week and next week on the call.
That would be great.
Is that cool?
Yeah. And of course, thank you for everybody that jumped on. Thank you, Dora, for sticking on. I know that life.
First thing she said, I don't know how long I can stay on. I'm so glad you stayed.
My daughter's with with the grandparents. So it's date night, because it's the only one we've gotten all tax season.
Oh no.
So
no, go have your date.
Oh no, well then go on your date. Yeah, well, I'm gonna stop the recording. Thank you.